Hello, I'm Bob Ganzak. Welcome to MotivationU the Podcast. Welcome to MotivationU the Podcast. It is so fantastic to be back here live in person at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill at Celebration Point inside the Coach's Podcast Room. I've been traveling for a couple of weeks. I want to thank Evan Miller, our producer, for making sure that something has been on at this time, pulling in from the archives and getting some shows. I had an opportunity to get up to Detroit, Michigan, to have a reunion with my baseball teammates from the mid-1970s who I graduated from the University of Detroit with, played baseball. We celebrated our coach's life, who passed away. Coach Bob Miller passed away during the COVID time, so we were unable to get together and celebrate that, and we wanted to do that. And then last week I was in Miami for some Dale Carnegie meetings, and it was absolutely tremendous. I love Miami. And speaking of Dale Carnegie, we graduated a class last Tuesday, not this Tuesday, the Tuesday before. Our next program in Gainesville is coming up September 13th. We kicked off a class last Thursday in Jacksonville. We have classes coming in Lake City, in Valdosta, in Douglas, Georgia, in Tifton, Georgia, Tallahassee, more in Jacksonville. We'll be doing a lot more as we go, more here in Gainesville. So please just keep going to jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com, jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com, and look for updates on classes and different things that'll be happening. As much as we can put on the schedule, we will, and tackle each one of them. Today, I am so excited about this program. Every once in a while, you get to meet individuals in your lives. If we live long enough, you're going to meet a plethora of incredible human beings. And I was blessed to meet this one probably about a year ago. It's kind of, I sit in this glass room that is totally soundproof and do this podcast, which I absolutely love. Thank you, head ball coach, for giving me the opportunity to utilize your facility to do this here from Spurrier's. And I would see this young man cleaning the facility through these windows all the time. Him, his wife, sometimes there was children running around. And this gentleman always had headphones on and was really into his work. This place is spotless all of the time. So one day I asked him, I said, what are you listening to? Podcast? Book? I think this guy's listening to music, no? He's listening to podcasts and books and trying to improve himself. That individual sitting with me today, Mr. Josh Vaughnn. Welcome, Josh.
How you doing, Bob?
To MotivationU the Podcast.
Appreciate it.
Somebody I most definitely admire, and how you have challenged yourself in your focus to improving. I just tell me about your company, the name of it, how you got started. Talk to me.
Well, the name of the company is Premium Cleaning Services of Gainesville. Excuse me. We originally got started back in 2017. Kind of lost my focus back then, so I didn't really continue the company. But around about the time COVID popped back up, kind of got back into it and been going at it ever since.
And how many employees? How did you start? What was the process that started the company?
Oh man, it was whew, it was hectic in the beginning, just trying to figure it out, because all I knew was that I had this plan, I had this goal. I didn't really know how to execute it, so I had to find all the information myself about how to get started, through Google and reading and stuff like that. Talking to great people like you, man, asking for advice and stuff like that, and was able to kind of build a foundation and got it rocking. So it's me, and then my partner Latasha Welch, which I wouldn't be able to do this without her. And we have 4 employees right now at the moment.
All right, I see that. First of all, you glance over that searching for stuff, and just like anybody can do it, or it happens every day. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen every day. I mean, the stick-to-itiveness that it takes to become an entrepreneur is incredible. So go to more details. What did you look for? What did you search for? How did you decide on this industry? What was the thought process that drove you to that?
Well, what fuels me is I say a lot of where I come from, my childhood, a lot of the struggles I've been through, a lot of the struggles I've witnessed, just not wanting to be a part of that situation, wanting to be better. And then, ultimately the goal is just to be able to be in a position to support my family and to be able to help people.
Okay. So let's go to that. You brought that up. Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Let's talk about your life of the first 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay, yeah. Well, I grew up right here in Gainesville, Florida. A place on the east side of town called Kennedy Home Projects. Okay. Or Kennedy Home Apartments. We call them projects. It even had nicknames around town. The Jungle was one of the nicknames. The Hellhole was one of the nicknames, just because of the condition and all, the overall personality of the projects. Mm-hmm. But I witnessed a lot of, like I said, I witnessed a lot of struggles, was part of it myself. A lot of single moms. There were a few, I could literally count on my hand how many dads I seen on a consistent basis, but that was one of the things that drove me once I reached the point of being a father. But other than that, those things kind of drove me to want to have a better life, and then to be kind of in a position of control of just myself, my situation. Once I got old enough to work, I didn't want to be in a position to where someone could kind of just would come to me and be like, hey, if they're having a bad day, hey, you're fired, so I didn't want to experience that. So the goal was always to be an entrepreneur, to be out on my own. I kind of fell upon the cleaning industry. I was actually just trying to find myself, and I was reading all these different books about personality traits and things like that, because I was really trying to, because they always say if you want to be successful, then do something that you love, what you're good at. But I didn't know what I was good at. But I kind of found out later on in life that my for me it was in my mind, with being able to analyze and situations and plan and plot and stuff like that. So and I've always had kind of like a mechanical mind. Was always kind of good at organizing, and always had, was always kind of clean. I was a kid around the house that, kind of kept everything clean. So I say, well, why not start a cleaning business? Originally, it was going to be a mobile detailing business, but kind of changed my mind and went into the cleaning service.
I'm glad you changed your mind, because it gets a little warm here, and detailing those cars out in the hot sun, it's a little nicer, the environment that you get to work in here.
Yeah. So just changed my mind and went into cleaning. To be honest, I felt like I say it'll be kind of cheap to get in here. It don't, you know what I'm saying? It don't take much. A couple chemicals, some buckets, and at first I was just working out the trunk of my car. Bought a couple chemicals, some buckets, and was working out the trunk of my car, listening to books and stuff about how to sell and lead and stuff like that, and actually applied a lot of those things. I read the 10 times rule by Grant Cardone. That was a big push for me as far as like motivating me to move. Because he's telling you, man, just go 10 times harder than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I adopted that mentality, and I just try to go 10 times harder than everybody else.
We're talking with Josh Vaughnn, a local entrepreneur here in Gainesville. And if you have a question for Josh, you can just write it right into Facebook Live there. We're on, like, I'm told 39 different platforms, but I've never counted them. I've never sat down and said, okay, here's 1, 2, 3. But we're told that, and I trust Evan, so he's the one that tells me that all the time, so I'll believe it. And today we have Tammy with us. Welcome, Tammy. Intern Tammy. Glad she is here with us. So write us a question, Facebook Live. If you have a question for Josh or myself, they'll get it to us and we'll answer that. Now, Josh, let's go back to growing up. Siblings. How many siblings do you have? Tell me about what home life was in those formidable years.
It was me. I have a sister and 3 more brothers, so it was 5 of us. And it was just my mom. Our family inside the home was always kind of tight-knit. My mom preached that to us every single day. We all we got. Look out for each other. So I think kind of early on, I kind of learned the family dynamic, kind of learned to kind of grasp and get hold to it. And outside the home, as far as the support system, I got amazing aunts and uncles that that was always there. Back then we were always we would all congregate at this aunt's house or this aunt's house or grandma's house or grandma's. So it was pretty cool.
Did you ever have any interaction with your dad, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. My dad was a mechanic. He very intelligent man. I speak to him every now and then, but yeah, I can remember a piece of advice he gave me. Excuse me, and something that I've always held on to. I live and die by it. But one day he told me, he was like, he say, son, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. I'll never forget this. He says 2 things. He say, always be your own man. That's one thing he told me. Always be your own man. He said, be a leader, not a follower. That being a leader, not a follower, is something is one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever received. Because I received it at a young age. It came from my dad, and I received it. It's something that I held on to from the time he told me up until now. So even now, man, I get Galaxy phones just because everybody else got iPhones. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that because I don't want to be in my mind. I don't want to just follow the crowd, But but yeah. So luckily because of that, I was always able to avoid the gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So
you mentioned selling, and purchasing chemicals. I mean, you grew up in a society that you could look at individuals that were entrepreneurs. I mean, they were in the gang world. That they find that niche. How did you break away from that? How did you just go in a different direction? What is it that drove you in a different direction?
Just overall, just wanting to be better, and that's just that's the truth. Just looking at my life, the things that I had been through, and just wanting to be a better person, and so I searched for that. I read the Bible, literally from front to back, and I picked up some great some great things out of the Bible that I kind of kept to myself and that I live by. It really helped me develop my morals, and my principles. I could say that was kind of the basis of where I got all that from, reading that from the Bible. So on this when I was on this path wanting to be better, I read Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. I read how he had all these different what's the word I'm looking for? All these different traits that he kind of wanted to put inside himself. So he took everything that he thought was good, even it was being a better listener, or better communicator, patience, or something like that, and he would just focus on that one trait, and for maybe, I forgot how long he was doing it. I don't know if it was for like a year or 6 months, but he would just make that his main focus until it became like a part of his character. And that's something that I did. I tried to, take everything that was good, focus on, and I'm still trying to get there.
I spoke this morning to Campus USA here in Gainesville at their corporate office, and we were talking about managing stress and worry and building your success. And one of the things I shared with them is that truly, if you want to manage your stress, it's totally up to you. And I've been around you for a long time, and I had never seen you stressful. The big part of it, Josh, is that you don't sit around doing nothing long enough to become stressful.
No. That's all part of the plan. No, really.
Yeah.
It's one of the ways I manage stress. It's all part of the plan. I always want to be productive, doing something to either be better or help someone else be better. So.
You're watching MotivationU the podcast, listening to MotivationU the podcast, and my guest is Josh Vaughnn, local entrepreneur. One of the things that we want to do with this program is reveal great leaders. I mean, you don't have to have the name of Musk or whatever you want to use, Gates, whatever, to be a great leader. Some of our best leaders are running small companies around our own towns, you being a prime example of that. Just, the way that you lead other people in your community is marvelous to me, and I applaud that 100%. And I'm learning from you as much as you've learned from me in our classes. One of the things I want to ask you is, where were you in that sibling tree? Where did you fall? Oldest, youngest?
Oldest.
You were the oldest. So, in a lot of these questions I'm asking you, I don't know the answers to. And they say you should never ask a question you don't know the answer to. How are your siblings doing, and what influence do you have on their lives?
Oh, man. They're great. They're doing fine. Whenever I speak to them, whenever I see them, man, it's always good spirits. They, for the most part, and I think I'm with this. I'm like this, you know, with my siblings, but for a lot of people in my family, I'm kind of like, you know, if they need advice or something, I'm the guy. You know, I'm who they call for the advice and stuff like that. And it's a position in my family that I kind of you know, I like having that position. I love it. But just, you know, glad to help my people in any way.
That's awesome.
So yeah, first
Mom and
born.
Dad still around?
Yep.
Yep. They must be very proud. They have.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially mom, you know how it is with the moms, man. You know, she won't stop. She won't stop telling you how proud she is and stuff like that, and always offers her help. And so, son, you know, anything you need me to do, you know, I do it. You know, I've even put on the clock a couple times. You know what I'm saying? You know, it comes, you know, in the beginning, you know, it comes them times where you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah. I got to go to work, Mom. You know, I got to get a job done. I got to make a living. You know, I'd love to hear that, but right?
Yeah.
So you've studied so many great people from history, and you mentioned Benjamin Franklin. Who are some other people that have shaped your leadership style?
I'll say Ben Franklin. Who else? I'll say, of course, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Once I got into the business world, most definitely Dale Carnegie. Stephen Covey?
Stephen Covey?
Covey, yeah.
Yep.
Love him. I've studied, when I say study these people, actually, I've actually read up on these people, but Warren Buffett, Master P, the rapper Gucci Man, who else?
Okay, so there's a couple
all
of
kind
names,
of people.
There's a couple of names that, I mean, all of the other names that you mentioned, many of us have read about them or heard about them. Let's go to Master P. What did you learn from him that influenced you, and what are the things that you draw from his words?
Man, most definitely, I'll just say his hustle, his grind, and just the strive to be independent. And I most definitely got like a family dynamic from him, man. And plus he came from the same situation I came from.
Okay.
You know, of course I've never met him, but you know, that's motivation for me, man. Like I seen him. I watched his life from when he first started selling CDs out the trunk of his car, and you know he was a ex-drug dealer, brothers, sisters, you know, being around the pimps, the players, the robbers, all that, and then you know focusing on something, finding ways to make it happen, connecting with people, and then now look where you at, you know. So he was most definitely one of my greatest influences, and he still is. I follow him. And
So you mentioned another person after that, and I didn't catch the name. Is another rapper?
Gucci Man.
Tell me about. I've never heard of him.
same thing. Most definitely the same thing. He similar environments. I kind of connected with him through music, just like I did with Master P, and just seeing how, you know, how these guys just able to come from something to, from nothing to something. You know what I'm saying? Like it just drives me.
Josh, what is the? Why is it that not everybody? What is it that you had differently that made you go in that direction rather than that direction? You know, have you ever tried to figure that out? I mean, because if you could bottle that and sell it, you'd be a trillionaire. You know, because that's the challenge of our lifetime. is how, because we talk about economics, we talk about so many different things, we talk about racism, equality, and all of the other things, but somehow you were able to transform that and shift in a different direction, where unfortunately it's not as many people as we would like to see that happen to. I mean, what was it?
To be honest, I got to give it to just having a whole shift in just my way of thinking, my mind frame, and just looking at things differently, because at one point I was a product of my environment, but I kind of on this path to want to be better. I understood that in order for me to get out of that I had to have a paradigm shift, a whole new way of thinking and approaching things.
When you were in a product of your environment, describe that to me. How old were you and what was happening?
I was born in it.
Okay.
I was born in it. The drugs, the guns, the no fathers in the house.
Did you play in that area for a while as an older person, or did you stay away from it totally?
Yeah, I did. When I say I was a product of my environment, I was. There was times where I've tried to figure out a way, and because all I knew was what I went out to see. The guys that were in my environment, right? So, when we went out to play, I didn't see, guys out there mowing grass and having, happy-go-lucky times. Everyone I seen, man, was either selling drugs, using drugs, pimping, selling something. It may not even be drugs, but they got some kind
stolen
of stolen
goods or whatever. Yeah,
anything
to make money. I mean, to survive.
Yeah, food. We had. I learned a lot of my hustle from my environment. I contribute a lot of that. Because everyone was hustlers. Everyone was grinding, trying to make it. We had people set up in each section. There were 4 different sections. That sold, we didn't have to leave for anything. They had food, they had the sweets, they had food, man. You could buy shoes, clothes, anything from, you didn't have to leave those gates for anything. And, so, that environment kind of shaped my mentality. But I just decided it was actually this girl that I knew, she told me one time, she was like, man, she said, you be out there all day and all night. Sometimes, you don't come home for 2-3 days, same clothes. But she said, if you can focus all that into you building you a business, you'll be a rich man. You know what I'm saying? And this was years and years ago, but I remember that. You know what I'm saying? And, that's kind of what I did. I'm
How
just
old were you when you broke away from it?
I say about, I'm 38 now. I say about 25 or so.
25. So you spent a good portion of your life involved in that in that activity.
Yeah.
And some people look at an individual like Joshua. Well, he's one of the lucky ones. He got it. No, there's no luck involved. It is hard work, dedication, perseverance, all of the things that we all have that in us. When we talk about in the Dale Carnegie class of the 90-10, that we only use 10% of our given talents in any area, you were able to tap into that 90% and bring it out at age, whatever made that happen, and hopefully we'll uncover that. We're going to take a break here.
Okay.
And we'll take break for a couple of commercials, and when we come back, I want to really dig into that of how you moved and more of your influence, and then let's talk a little bit about your time in the Dale Carnegie class, because you accomplished something that we'll share with the audience, that rarefied air. Rarefied air. I think of that statement with Michael Jordan, but I'll share it with Josh Vaughnn today. So My name is Bob Ganzak. He's Josh Vaughnn. This is MotivationU the Podcast. We'll be back right after this, coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Looking for more reasons to celebrate? We have them here at Celebration Point. Enjoy some of the newest additions to our already celebratory lineup, like Dave & Buster's, Les Macarons, and Prime and Pearl. There's always a reason to celebrate. Join us anytime for any occasion. Celebration Point, where Gators come to celebrate.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to MotivationU the Podcast. Hanging out in the other room is another one of your classmates from the Dale Carnegie program, Jose Raven,
I see Jose over there.
who we've had in this program before. Hello, Jose. A young man from
I love Jose, man. Cool.
another individual like
Yeah.
yourself who grew up in an environment that he had to find himself to get out of. Venezuela, not a great area of the country either that Jose was from and was challenged and like, I mean, we could almost spit to where you grew up. You know, if Rex Grossman was throwing the ball, you could probably get it that far, right? You know, Timmy Tebow might not get it that far, but it would, you know. But somebody would catch it and score.
Yeah.
That's one thing we know.
He'll find a way to get it though.
Where Jose came from countries, you know, thousands of miles away to change his life. So, you know.
I love it, man. I love an underdog story, man.
I love the world we live in.
Yeah,
I believe if we would all shift our thinking to we're all on the same team. And how can we make this better for everybody, no matter where you're from or no matter what your background is? Yesterday is over. Let's move towards today and tomorrow. And how can you and I work together to make the world better? You know, even if it's just the block I live on.
Yeah.
You know, it's we were talking at break, and I said to Josh, my guest, Josh Vaughnn, entrepreneur here in the Gainesville area. And just what a joy to sit across the table from this man. Just absolutely, if you don't get psyched up being around him, it's like something's wrong. You know, But we were talking off air during the break, that he can influence so many people. It doesn't matter what your background is. Your story can influence so many people. And your story is just beginning. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a long, long history. You have children, right?
Yep.
How many?
3.
3?
Yep.
Ages?
3-year-old to 12 years old.
3 to 12 years old.
3, 9, and 12.
3, 9, and 12. So now think about that. That's the next generation of your children that are going to learn from their daddy.
Yep.
And they're going to carry this on. That's why I say it's just the beginning. Mm-hmm. We had a great chance to spend 8 weeks together in the Dale Carnegie class, Skills for Success. Eugene Johnson mentioned to me at graduation last week that your intention was to win the highest award of achievement. Now, very rarely have I had people come into the class and say, my goal is to win the highest award of achievement. And now that award is given out one individual in each class that is taught wherever Dale Carnegie is taught. So even though there's 10 million people that have gone through the program, there's still only one of those individuals that are awarded that award. Mm-hmm. That's again, rarefied air, right? Mm-hmm. That's up there with that 1%ers, of the winner. Now, what made you say to somebody else, my goal is to win this award? Especially somebody that probably had the same goal that you had.
Because, man, first of all, it was the whole the outlook that I had of the course, right? I felt like it was just such a wonderful course, and I was just so thrilled to be there, be a part of it, and I read about how all these great leaders have been through this course, and I was like, man, you know what? If all these great people have been through this course, if this course is considered one of the greatest in the world, if I can get the highest achievement in there, then to me, like that'll prove to me that that I can, I'm all right, dude. I'll make it out here. So I just went in with the that was my goal. I wanted it. Yeah. I wanted to be able to say that I got the highest award of achievement in the Dale Carnegie course.
And you did.
In the Dale Carnegie, yeah. I want to be able to say that.
The premier training program. I mean, there was a lot of good programs. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about the initial, the first, and you are in that elite group, which is really.
Man, I'm even now. I'm just thinking about it, man. I'm like, dang, I got the highest award of achievement in the Dale Carnegie course, man.
I wish you could have seen a video.
I don't even think Warren Buffett can say that.
I wonder if he can. I don't know if he can. This is exactly the way the gentleman was on that Tuesday night when he won the award. Is just the exact same exuberance that you showed at that time. But you live your life that way. Mm-hmm. Does Tasha, your partner, and the kids, do they like laugh at Dad or?
Oh yeah, because I'm always on go. Yeah. But most definitely. Yeah, they do. But they're both great support systems, man. Especially Tasha, man. She always look, just keep going. You got this. And she supports me in every single thing. You see what I'm saying? And it's just to have something like that, to when you have a plan, someone just to believe in you like that, man, and then just be right there with you the whole. It's a blessing.
What is your intake? I mean, like. Are you a big coffee drinker, or is your energy just Josh Vaughnn?
I mean, I drink coffee, but it's just the thrill, man.
Coffee slows you down.
Yeah.
I mean, So, how did you and Tasha connect? What was that?
I met Tasha through. I used to work at Outback.
Okay.
She worked there too.
Okay.
And I met her from there at Outback, and even then, when I first met her, even then, I was planning or plotting on how she can help me grow my business. So I was kind of peeping her, and she was a manager at the time, so I was just kind of peeping her and seeing her, swag and style. And I was like, man, if I can,
I don't see her in here now, but
is she over there?
is she? There she is. Yeah, you definitely, and she's. I mean, that her smile is just lights up a room. Also,
Yeah.
And the two of you work together.
Yeah.
Are there times where she's at one facility and you're at another? Or?
At times, yes. Yep.
So tell me how you're growing your business. Help. We've talked about how you've gotten from where you were to where you are, and you've done it through hard work, education, dedication, sacrifice. A ton of sacrifice, because not everybody wants to sit around. It's easy to sit down and watch Netflix and binge watch Netflix for 16 weeks. You binge listen to podcasts and books, and you're educating yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about your business. How are you growing it? What are your plans?
Yeah, well, like I said, Premium Cleaning Services of Gainesville. We call it PCS for short. But we do residential, commercial cleaning around here in the Gainesville area, with the entire Alachua County area. But right now, man, we're just growing through hard, like you say, just hard work, and just trying to build a good name. With the people we are dealing with, and trying to we're looking for good people to help us grow too, man, because we're kind of getting in that spot now where I guess
I see some grays in there, Coach.
Whew, man.
I see some grays in there. that's employees and a lot of things add to that.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I love it. It's definitely a challenge, but every day is a learning experience. And I got good people around me who I can always call for advice, or who offer their advice to me whenever I'm just anything I ask, they'll give me the answer, tell me where I can go find and stuff like that.
Well, I'll ask this question first. You clean Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this, if anybody ever wants to have a question of what your work is, all they have to do is walk through here. And walk through here, like, not 5 minutes before they open up. Walk through here at 11 o'clock in the morning, when it's not open, and just see how spotless this place is. You do a fantastic job. You and Tasha both. Yeah, I see you in here all the time. What other places do you have as clients that you can mention?
Most recently, we just picked up our first state contract with the Department of Transportation. So that was huge for us. We also do a lot of work for Collier Properties, for asset living. We have a salon, the Hairport Salon, which is their owner was actually in the class with us too, Jessica.
Jessica Teasley.
Yep, Jessica Teasley.
Another wonderful, wonderful person.
Yep. Love her, great person. Yeah, and for the most part, that's it.
That's what you're working.
Mm-hmm.
And you have connected with somebody that has changed a lot of people's worlds,
mm-hmm.
and and believes in you 100%. That's Freddie Wiebe. How did you connect with Freddie?
Again, it was one of the same things. To be honest, man, I was around here working one day, and I kind of seen that Freddie, I was like, I peeped his leadership style, and that's what kind of drove me to him. And once I met him, I wanted to learn more. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I kind of felt like, dang, this guy, he's, like I want to be like this guy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whenever I have any questions or anything, I go to Freddie. Like I say, he'll either give me the information or point me in the right direction. He's went so far as connecting me with people. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna share something with you, man. I told you how growing up in my environment, there's a lot of crazy things. One of the things I could say is, growing up where I'm from, man, is you don't get a lot of people that do just like kind gestures, like just out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like for the most part, everyone is in this struggle and they're trying to get out of it. So it's a lot of selfishness in that. Okay. Freddie is so, I can't say that about him at all, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was one of him, just the smaller acts of kindness that he's done for me has been some of the, most, it's motivational for first of all, because I'd be like, dang, man, I need to, it motivates me to want to do small acts of kindness.
Well, Freddie doesn't give you anything
no,
other than an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then it's what you do with it, that's up to you. Mm-hmm. Which great leadership mm-hmm. is giving, in my opinion, is empowering other people. Mm-hmm. I always looked at, bowling alleys have like bumper bowling. It's where they put these big tubes in the gutters. And so when the little kids throw the ball down it hits, if they're going to throw it in the gutter, it bounces back, so they knock some of the pins down, right? Yeah. Which is a great thought process mentally about, not letting people fail, but mm-hmm. letting them do it on their own. Mm-hmm. And I've always looked at leadership, and my leadership style is that way. Mm-hmm. My job is not to throw the ball for them. My job is to let them err, but when they're just about to fall in the gutter, bounce them back down the middle. And mm-hmm. and soon, if they throw it enough, they never even worry. And then you can take the bumpers out of the gutters because they never throw it there. Mm-hmm. And I see Freddie is the same way. Mm-hmm. Is that is part of his leadership style, that it keeps you on target. Mm-hmm. Great enthusiasm, hard worker. Those are things that you do also. Yeah,
and like I say, is like I'm like you said, I still feel like I'm going through this process. So it's a learning. Just like I study and try to learn from everybody. Freddie is one of those guys who I try to learn from.
You're watching MotivationU or listening to MotivationU the podcast, coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill at Celebration Point. With me is Josh Vaughnn, local entrepreneur, most outstanding, highest award of achievement winner in our last Dale Carnegie program here in Gainesville at the Hotel Indigo. Just an absolute dynamic individual. And we've been talking about his childhood, how he's grown up, the people that have influenced him. Where is the future for Josh Vaughnn? Where is Josh Vaughnn going? What is I like to call it, your vision, passion, and purpose for going forward?
For the company or
all over?
All over. But most definitely, man. I want to eventually be able to to have spots, be able to, be in different areas over Florida, the big college towns and stuff like that. And maybe even I've been thinking about like franchising. That's something that I've thought about. And then just on a personal level, I'm just always just trying to be better, just striving to be better, man. So hopefully, one day I will be.
Yeah, that's good. No, hopefully I get involved.
Yeah, no,
right?
hopefully I will be, in a position where, I have great leaders in the company and I'll be able to help my community.
That's a fantastic, and keep driving until the children become part of Dad's business, right?
I already got them working on it.
Oh, good. I always like to hear that. That's always a benefit to everybody in the world. How did you land this account?
Just when I heard about it when I heard about it opening up, and then I heard about the GM. They said the guy who's going to be running it was Drew, and I knew Drew from when I worked at World of Beer. I actually worked with Drew over there too. Drew also another great individual, someone that when those time I worked with Drew, I learned from him too.
We're talking
goes
about
hard.
Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew from Spurs. Yeah. I learned a lot from man. I used to just love how he got dirty with his crew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it was like busy, the tickets everywhere. Like he wasn't one of those managers that just sit back and watch. Man, he finna put the gloves on and come get dirty with you. And that's something I appreciated about Drew. And something that I paid attention to, held on to. So I get dirty with my crew. But yeah. So I reached out to Drew, sent him a few emails, and he hit me back and told me to come over, give him a quote, and we've been here ever since.
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
and that's a good connection to have, and
yeah.
It's fun. I remember the one day that we were in here and Coach Spurrier came in and and I think your son was here, if I remember correctly, and that just to see the lights on your face when Coach was here, that was like, wow, this is really special. Yeah. So, what is your interaction with Coach Spurrier being around here?
I didn't. Man, Coach, he's just cool. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things. Like he's just a cool guy, man. Yeah, and he speaks every time he comes in. He speaks. Hey man, that's how he comes in. Hey man, he says that to everybody, and nothing but good times when I see Coach.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling. Did you grow up a Gator fan, or?
Yes, I did, yeah. And that's what makes it even better. Especially and then again, coming from where I come from.
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, dang, I never thought that I used to watch Coach on TV and the play. I said, man, I never think I'll be like working well.
and giving him a fist bump. He fist bumps everybody since COVID, right? So, giving him a fist bump just to have a conversation with the man is like you learn something every time you spend 5 minutes with him. And I go to my notepad and I'm like, I got to write that down.
Yeah.
Because you learn something from the guy all the time.
Yeah.
So tell me, going back to your youth. Where did you go to high school? What was those years like?
I went to Buchholz High School.
Okay. Now we've had some athletes come out of that area and before, and okay. So I think there has been a few. And what was that environment like?
School was was good. It was always at the time. We were beefing with. Well, not beefing, but it was like a childhood thing, but, we did a lot of fighting and stuff growing up. And, so at times we it'd be fights in school and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was good. I can't say anything bad about View Holtz.
Was there a teacher or a coach or a counselor or a guidance counselor or whatever that had an impact on you in those years that sticks with you? No. As many people.
Not in high school. My biggest influences honestly were the people like at home. Most specifically the women. Like I have some
moms and aunts.
Yeah, man. I got some. Excuse me, but I got some badass women in my family. Like really. They go hard. Those women too. I grew up watching them. Provide, hustle, grind. I learned a lot from them too.
That's a blessing. I guess there is some luck that is involved that you had a mother of that ilk and aunts of that type that really helped to influence your world. Because some other people, did not have that. Yet we still rise above that. You had mentioned Gucci Man and Master P. Where are they from originally? Do you know where their childhoods were?
I think Master P from New Orleans, and Gucci Man is from South Carolina or Atlanta or something like that. Yeah.
And the reason I ask that is because, a lot of times when we see these successful individuals that have risen out of the ashes of our cities. I grew up in Detroit area. Literally, 1967 with the riots were the ashes of Detroit. And people don't think that, things like Motown and what was coming out of the city at that time was so great, but we had so many problems too. But we think of these big cities, and Gainesville, 13 years ago, 35 years ago, 38 years ago when you were born, was not a huge city. No. It's still not.
Yeah, they still don't consider it a huge city.
So you don't have to be from these large metropolitan areas to struggle, is my point.
Yeah.
And there's less opportunities. What is it like, growing up in a college town, though? What influence did that have on you, if any?
I don't think the town growing up in a college town really had to influence me. But I could say that overall throughout my life here, I've met some amazing people, right? So overall, I could say the people here in this city have been an influence to me, if that makes sense.
Yep, sure does.
I've met some good people here.
Yep. So we have 2 minutes left. In 1 minute, you have 1 minute. Like the 1 minute talk you give in week 4. Right? You have 1 minute. Give some advice to your children when they're 18, 19-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Project forward. You got about 45 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, just go hard. Go hard. Don't stop. Don't give up. No matter what. Use any struggles or hard things that you might go through. Use that as fuel. Always keep a open mind to not just people, but other people's opinions and way of thinking. You'll be good. You'll be good.
You'll be more than good. You'll be great.
You'll be great.
This man believes in himself, and because of his belief in himself and his hard work and his the ethics and the integrity that he lives his life with, other people believe in him also. His name is Josh Vaughnn. He is an incredible leader. He was a pleasure to have in my class, and I love all the students that come through. But you were fun to work with. You were a lot of fun. So I appreciate you being here, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me.
And please come back and share some ideas with us. Keep pushing forward, and I'm going to be interested in watching your career as you grow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I want to thank you for sharing another hour with us. This is MotivationU the Podcast, coming to you from live at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. For Evan Miller, our producer, our intern, Tammy, appreciate it very much. Have a wonderful day.